Good morning Year 4, and this is your maths video for if you've got this booklet. So remember, we're still working from the first booklet that was given out to you at the start of lockdown on Thursday the 25th of February. Now we've spent this week looking at 2D and 3D shapes. And today is our last day on 2D and 3D shapes, so it's a chance for us to show off everything that we've already learned. Okay, now before we get started with today's lesson, I've got a quick spot the mistake for you. So, I've got two shapes on my board. I've got a circle and I've got a rectangle, and I know that's a rectangle because these two sides are longer. And I've had a go at drawing the line of symmetry. Okay, so I've got one here. Remember, symmetry is where it's exactly the same on both sides. And I've got one here. Now, can anybody tell me which of these isn't quite right? Which one? Okay, so I'm going to tell you. It is this one. Does anybody know why? Okay, so if we have a look at this one, we can see that it's got a really straight line and it goes right down the middle of our shape. But this one, it started straight, but then it gets a little bit wibbly wobbly right at the end, which means it isn't quite a line of symmetry. So remember, whenever we're doing lines of symmetry, it's important that our line is really, really straight and it goes right down the middle. And what can we use to help us to get a really straight line, Year 4? We can use a ruler, can't we? Brilliant. Okay. So, for our warm-up game this morning, I'm going to have a go at making some 2D shapes on a geoboard. Okay, and once I've made a 2D shape, I want you to shout out as loud as you can the name of the shape that I've made. So, are you ready? So here's my board then. Going to start by making this shape. Has anybody thought what shape it could be? Okay, there's my first one. What's that shape? All of the sides are the same, so it's a square. Brilliant, well done if you got that at home. Next one then, let's have a go. What would we call that shape then? That's a three-sided shape, can we remember? Okay, so that one's a triangle, isn't it? Well done. Getting really good at our 2D shapes, Year 4. Okay, what about this one then? What 2D shape is that? So it's got four sides, it's got two short sides, and it's got two long sides. What shape is that? Okay, so that one's a rectangle. Brilliant. Okay, let's go for a tricky one now. Are we ready for a tricky one? I think we are. Does anyone guess what shape this could be? Okay, there we go then. What's that one? How many sides does it have? They're all straight sides. Let's count them together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What do we call an 8-sided shape, Year 4? We should know this one now. I've given you lots of reasons to remember it. So it's an octagon. Brilliant. Let's do another one then. So how many sides does that shape have? So it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And what do we call a 6-sided shape? It's a hexagon. Brilliant. What I'll do is I'll send this link home so that you can have a little go at making some 2D shapes and then maybe challenging somebody to name them. Okay. So, for today's learning then, Year 4, your learning question says, can I apply my knowledge of 2D and 3D shapes? So we've done lots on shapes already. Today's our chance to show that off. And it's asking you to circle the shapes with 3 sides. So I've got to look for any shape that's got 3 sides, and we call a 3-sided shape a triangle, don't we? Okay, so I'm looking for a shape with 3 sides. Has anybody spotted one? I want you to point to it on your device that you're using. Okay, so I can see one here. That's one triangle. Are there any other triangles? Okay, here's the next one. And are there any more? Brilliant. Okay, so I've circled my 3-sided shape. So if I get my visualiser on and we go to our booklets now, Year 4, you're going to be turning to page number 31. And that is what question 1 is asking you to do. It's asking you to put a ring around or to circle all the shapes with 4 sides. So we just did on my whiteboard together 3-sided shapes, and I want you now to circle any 4-sided shapes. So count carefully and draw a ring around them. Once you've done that though, Year 4, to make it a little bit more tricky, I would like you to then name those shapes, but only A, C, D, E and G. So next to them in your booklet, so A, I want you to write the name of that 2D shape. C, write the name of that one. D, E and G. Okay, so find some space in your booklet to write the names of those 2D shapes. The next question, then Year 4, is asking you to look at some 3D shapes. So we looked at 3D shapes yesterday, didn't we? And it's asking us to colour all of the rectangles that you can see in these shapes. So we remember that a rectangle is a shape that's got 2 long sides and 2 short sides. And this here is made up of some rectangles. There's a rectangle, there's a rectangle, there's a rectangle, and there's a rectangle. And all you've got to do is you've got a drawing of this shape, and you've got to look for any rectangles that you can see. So I can see a rectangle here. Can you all see that, Year 4? That first rectangle there in our cuboid. Brilliant. Okay, and I can also spot another little rectangle here behind it. Can we see any more? I can see one here. And also one at the bottom. Okay, same for this one then, because this one's also a cuboid, so we've got some longer sides. So there's a rectangle, there's a rectangle, we've got a rectangle at the top and a rectangle at the bottom. Now can we see any rectangles on this shape? No, I can't either. So if we go back to your booklet now then, Year 4. Question 2 is asking you to colour in all of the triangles that you can see. So you've just got to look for a triangle, and remember a triangle is a three-sided shape. And whenever you spot a triangle, so I can spot one here, you're just going to colour it in, okay? Brilliant. The next question then is about symmetrical patterns, and it's asking us to look at the pattern and identify if it's symmetrical. So I'm going to have a little go. So I'm going for that one. And that one. Have a look at what you think. Okay, there we go. Which of those patterns is symmetrical? Okay, so symmetrical is where it's the same. It's like a mirror image, isn't it? Okay, so well done if you said that that one was the same. And what you've got to do is to have a look at these patterns and look carefully at those patterns and tick the symmetrical ones. And I'll give you a clue. There are two that you've got to tick. Okay? One of them isn't symmetrical, two of them are. And then your final question for today, Year 4, is asking you to continue a pattern. So we're going to have a go at continuing a pattern here. So, I'm going to go so let's continue our pattern. So it goes black, red, white, black, red, white, black. Okay, brilliant. So let's go back to yours, and your pattern is shapes. So it goes square, circle, circle, square, circle, circle. And you've then got to draw the next three shapes. Remember, when you're drawing your square, you must use a ruler. Okay, brilliant, well done. Your challenge for today then, guys, because you know I always like to set you a challenge, is to draw a picture. And it can be a picture of whatever you like. But the catch is your picture has got to be made up of only 2D or 3D shapes. So if I was to have a little go at drawing the picture, I'm going to draw a little house. Okay, so there's the roof of my house, and I've used a triangle for that. Okay, there's the actual house. And there's the door. So you can see that I've used 2D shapes to create a picture. But I want your picture to be much bigger and much better than mine. Let's end today's lesson then with a little question. Which part of learning about shapes have you found most difficult? So if you found the symmetry part of it difficult, have you found the properties part of it difficult, especially when looking at our 3D shapes? Or have you found remembering the names of those the most difficult? Don't forget to take a picture of your booklet and your picture and even your challenge and send that to the Year 4 email address.